Here I am, after so many years, hounded by hatred and trapped by fear. I'm in a box, I've got no place to go. If I follow my mind, I know I'll slaughter my own. Help me, I'm the prisoner. Won't you hear my plea? I need somebody, yeah, to listen to me. I beg you, brothers and sisters, I'm counting on you, yeah. Black baby is in the womb, shackled and bound, chained by the caveman who keeps beauty down. Smacked on the ass when they're squalling and wet, and to a spineless man who never forgets, never forgets that he's a prisoner. Can't you hear my plea? 'Cause I need somebody, Lord knows, to listen to me. I'm a stranger to my son who wonders why his daddy runs, yeah.
Peace and love. Welcome again to the NEPPC podcast. I'm Brother Frank, and today is a historical moment in the struggle to free all political prisoners, to make sure our political prisoners don't die in prison. I just got a text the other day, and it was confirmed by other people that Ruchell, Magee, the longest U.S. held political prisoner, is coming home. it's a compassionate release. I was told that he's coming on, and we'll take it however we can get. Unfortunately, it took so long, but we're fighting an oppressed system, a system that does not want to fully free our political prisoners, that doesn't even want to acknowledge political prisoners. So that raises the questions about the society in which we live, right? You have an idea that is correct based on your ability to make the analysis on the conditions you and people like you live in. And you decide that you're going to stand up and fight back, and you're going to do it in a disciplined, organized manner. And you doing that and drawing attentions of others to the point where they making a commitment, then now you draw the attention of the state, and the state responds is the way they respond, very brutally, very mercilessly, and without any level of remorse or compassion at all. So now we have to understand what we have to do, and what we have to do is commit ourselves to freeing our political prisoners. We have to write them. We have to let them know that they're not forgotten. We have to do our work. We have to engage our family. We have to engage our friends, and we have to do it on a consistent basis. Because without being consistent, you are not going to win people over, because people are going to question what you're doing and question the validity of what you're doing, because you're not doing it on a consistent basis. So today's episode is dedicated to Ruchell Magee. And all the years he's been incarcerated. For those who are unaware of Ruchell Magee, I put up some information that was put on by I think Black Cross anarchist organization, but it said U.S. Ruchell Magee has been in prison since 1963. He was politicized in prison and participated in the August 7th, 1970 Marin County Courthouse Rebellion, the attempted liberation of political prisoners George Jackson and the Soledad brothers by Jackson's younger brother Jonathan. Magee was seriously injured in the incident and subsequently pleaded guilty to aggravated kidnapping. He was sentenced in 1975 to life in prison and has been denied parole numerous times. In this way, we all have an idea of who he was, or who he is rather, and what his contribution is to our liberation struggle. Therefore, we can start to connect ourselves to Ruchell Magee a lot better, and we can make ourselves committed to struggling to help him, make his way into society, because the world has changed a number of times since he's been in society. So I provided the link so you could share with others, because there's a fundraiser going on to help him with reentry. There's a financial goal that they're trying to meet, and I think that we all chip in, we can help them, because it's just not one person doing the work. Each and every one of us can do something. You can contribute $1, $5, a number, 100 people contributing $1, that's $100. 100 people contributing $5, that's $500. And you get the picture. So the weight is not on one person or a small group of people, but we all can participate. And that's important, because we all have to understand that fights have been taken up, people have been captured, tortured, some people lost their lives, and it's part of struggle. It's part of trying to do what needs to be done to bring our people home. And we have to continue to take up that fight. We have to understand that our people's future is at stake. And we have to be very committed and very seriously committed to that, because another generation is waiting for change. Because if we don't change the conditions for another generation, then they'll have to do our work over and over again. So Ruchell Magee should be appreciated. His commitment should be acknowledged. and his sacrifices should be acknowledged, and it should be acknowledged by what we choose to participate in, what we dedicate our time to. And I think that that's very important when we take up work like political prisoners. Some people say that how does political prisoner work make change, make revolution? Well, the science of making revolution is to raise the consciousness of the masses. Now, when you talk about political prisoners and you talk about the idea of being political or politics, you're talking about the relationship between people and power. Right? Power dictates everything. Power dictates the quality of water you're going to have, the time the bus comes pick you up, the quality of books that your children are going to have in their school. And that has to be done in an orderly manner to obtain power. You have to first politicize yourself. You have to first raise your consciousness. You have to commit yourself to reading, researching, traveling, right? You know, you go to the library, you find out what resources they have. The library might not have enough resources, then you might have to go to a bigger library. That library might not have enough resources. Then now you decide that the place you stay, the city or the country that you stay doesn't have enough resources, then you have to travel internationally. You know, the point is that you never stop somewhere because the resources are limited, right? You have to challenge yourself to do more. And that's why when you take up the work of political prisoners or any work dealing with social change, real change, it has to be done in a manner in which you are committed to long term, right? Nothing happens overnight. You don't commit yourself to something overnight. It's a gradual process. I just received a letter today from Veronda Bowers, and it really touched me deeply. He was very satisfied with my work. He was very happy that people really, made the time to write him. So I'll be writing him again. And I was advised to share his letter. And yes, I'm going to share it at another time because today's episode is dedicated to Ruchell Magee and coming home and how long that struggle was. But, you know, as we talk about Ruchell and we talk about other political prisoners, they all are related, right? They share the same politics. They're brothers, they're sisters in combat. And we have to look at them as such. So Ruchell Magee, uh, he would want me to deal with other political prisoners. So that's why I even mentioned Veronda Bowers and that letter, because he is understanding the relationship that I'm building in Queensbridge around political prisoners. You know, whatever I'm involved in under the organizing work of Sugar Ray and Transform America, and that work allows me to let people know that I'm here based on the sacrifices or in the spirit of political prisoners. And I'm here to do what needs to be done to aid people and aid their development further, and to make sure that they are aware of sacrifices of others, that they are aware of those who have done as much as they could to move a people forward, and who are committed to that. And with them understanding that, then we start to exchange ideas. We start to understand that this is where you're at, and you can go further with this idea. But it's going to take time because there are a number of distractions existing in the world, the society that we live in. And we have to reduce those distractions if we don't have the time or the ability at the current time to eliminate them totally. You know, as much as I know about political prisoners and the need to make change and critical analysis of capitalism, I still get distracted by social media. I still get distracted by conversations that are just entertaining, that are really a waste of time. But you engage in these conversations because you are a human being, and you have ethics, and you don't want to be rude. But we realize that our time is limited, right? We're here for a certain amount of time, and then the next phase of our life as the universe demands takes place. So that being said, when we deal with the idea of political prisoners, those who are incarcerated because of their ideas, right, and their sacrifices to change the conditions of a people, then we start understanding the seriousness of having dialogue on political prisoners, and the fact that anything that we're struggling for, the ideas of political prisoners should be incorporated, because our political prisoners deserve that. They have sacrificed so much, and they have done that out of love, right? Because they understood what it means to love, right? The honorable ancestor now, Dr. Matulu Shakur, said it best. He said, love is something that you do not say. And he demonstrated that since the age of 16, when he decided that he was going to participate seriously in political affairs that were going to bring about serious change for his people. So when we talk about political prisoners, or when you talk about any topic, it's very important that you have a clear understanding of what you're talking about, and that clarity comes from providing a definition of a topic. So the definition of political prisoners would be this, and some people might rephrase it differently, but if I'm going to begin a conversation with anybody, I would use this definition. It says political prisoners are people jailed on charges related to their resistance to oppression and repression, and targeted by the state for their political beliefs and or actions. Right. So using this definition, now we can start making the distinction between various prisoners, right? Because every prisoner is not a political prisoner. Every prisoner has not been in those situations where they made a decision on what they were going to do was based on changing the lives of a group of people. Rather, it was a situation that they engaged in at a time, not all of them, but some of them, because they were looking for instant gratification, right? They was decided that they didn't want to do X, Y, and Z, that they wanted to do something a quick way. That's some, not all. But I'm just trying to give an idea of how you separate prisoners from political prisoners, right? And this needs to be said. So when people take on the idea of political prisoners, that's a question that you need to raise to them. You need to ask them, if you're claiming this person is a political prisoner, what's their background? There are other prisoners that are prisoners of consciousness. While they're incarcerated, they do a serious research onto what led to their incarceration. They are made aware of various literature that raises their consciousness, and from raising their consciousness, they make a decision on what are they going to do with their time, how they're going to do their time. They decide that they're going to do it in a way that's going to aid others. So they write to those who've been writing to them about their ideas, their concepts, and the fact that they need to take a different position so that others don't follow their footsteps. Because sometimes if you're not careful about what you say, you might be in a position, or you'll be in a vehicle for glorifying something destructive. And whether it's music or it's just a movie or a conversation that is not directed in the direction that it should be. If you're talking about bringing forth light to a so-called dark situation, or life to a destructive situation, you have to be responsible. And that's the distinction between political prisoners and prisoners of consciousness. Now, when we look at Ruchell Magee's background, we see that, he was made conscious while he was incarcerated, right? But we see the duration or the circumstance that he was in, led to his continuous parole denial. Because as we said before, we talk about the so-called correctional facility. If you're trying to correct somebody, why somebody like Ruchell Magee had to be incarcerated for over 6 decades? How long is the correction process? Why was he denied parole so long? And you call it compassionate release, but if you were truly compassionate, you would have released them a long time ago. But we accept compassionate release. We want our brother home. We want those who are watching this to share with others. Make sure you share that link. Do what you can on your part. Make a contribution. Encourage others to make a contribution so that goal is met. So we understand that we have a duty, a responsibility to aiding those who are incarcerated, right? We got so many who are incarcerated. And, I want to take some time to give them some coverage. Like Imam Jamil Alamin, Otis Jackson did that crime, did that murder. Otis Jackson confessed to it. And anybody who can help me get in touch with Otis Jackson, please, I want to have him on the podcast. I want him to confess to the world that he did it so that Imam Jamil Alamin can come home. An innocent man continues to remain incarcerated. Our beloved sister, our comrade in the struggle, Joy Powell, she's incarcerated. She's a political prisoner because prior to her incarceration, she was organizing people. She was standing up and fighting back. She was dealt with tragedies herself as her son was killed by the police. And, this is something that we can't ignore. This is somebody we can't ignore. And we got to organize around bringing her home. And how do we do that? We do that by writing her, asking her, what can we do? Speaking her name wherever possible, letting others know that there's somebody who is incarcerated who should not be incarcerated, because we are taxpayers. Tax dollars are used to build these correctional facilities. And we have to do our part to let those who are elected by our vote to bring our political prisoners home, because they deserve to be with their loved ones, right? We can't forget our brother Kamal Siddiqui. Kamal Siddiqui is incarcerated, and there's a campaign to bring him home. Follow him on Facebook, share it with others. Everybody needs to do their job who has any concern and any compassion for bringing about real change, real serious change. It's going to take some serious work for us to make that happen, for us to stand up and do what needs to be done. Because, you wake up and you enjoy certain privileges in life. You enjoy the fact that you're paid a certain wage when you go to work. You enjoy the fact that there's particular jobs available to you without prejudice because somebody organized and fought for that. Even where you live at, there was people who organized and fought for you to stay there. Because if you look at the history of this country and you look at the fact that people of African descent were categorized as 3/5 of a human being, they were looked upon as being subhuman. And somebody fought against that idea. And yes, you probably heard me say it before, but it needs to be said again, because people get comfortable with the current conditions, right? The current conditions need some serious improvement, right? But as bad as they are, they were worse. And they only got better because people organized and people fought back. And we have to be respectful for that. See, it's easy to say you respect somebody, right? Because it's just words. You say, I respect you, I respect you, I respect you. But what does it truly mean to be respectful to somebody if you say you respect them, right? But there's no action behind that. That's not true honor. True honor is actions, is really, really going to work and putting something in practice that demonstrates how you truly feel, and that has to be done in a way where that person understands that. And if that person is not around no more physically, that person's an ancestor, there's others that watch you say you respect that person. Or there's people that love that person and really hold that person in the high regards and really are watching those who are supposed to be respectful to him or her. And your credibility's on the line now. You saying you're supposed to respect somebody, but your actions are showing that your respect is truly questionable. So when I say that I respect Dr. Mutulu Shakur, I make sure that I'm a part of some work that's about freeing our political prisoners. I make sure that I do my part and write to a political prisoner. That's why we provide the addresses of political prisoners so you can write to them. And if there's a political prisoner that you are not you don't know how to get that address, just contact me. I'm always providing my phone number 347-679-3936. Again, that's 347-679-3936, so that I can provide you with that address so you can call that. Well, so you contact that political prisoner and you build a strong relationship, right? We always throwing the name of political prisoners up here so that you are aware of who they are and how long they've been incarcerated, so they're not forgotten. So wherever you at, whatever activity you at, you might be at a rally or demonstration, or even at church or masjid, right? You're talking about the conditions currently existing. You're talking about prophets. You're talking about prophecies. You're talking about those who sacrifice for the greater good. And you have to know that they need to be respected. Brother Hawk, you hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Hey man, peace, man. How you doing, brother? Brother Hawk. Well, excuse the technical difficulties. Our brother Hawk is trying to get on. He has to struggle to make that happen. You know, we have to be consistent with talking about political prisoners. And that's why we make it our business, the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition, to produce a podcast episode every Wednesday at noon, right? Because that's the only way we're going to be taken seriously at doing this work. You know, our political prisoners need to be respected at that level. And they need to be talked about on a regular basis. You know, August will be here, Black August, right? Let's talk more about that, right? As Black August becomes here, we know the origins of it. It started in a correctional facility institution, right? Brothers want to honor George Jackson, and they said that the Black August is going to be a time where brothers will refrain from a number of things, refrain from drugs, alcohol, and really focus on becoming more committed towards actions that are beneficial to the collective moving forward. And they was going to do that in a way by exercising, studying more, fasting, so they can be further disciplined, because this work takes discipline. You know, you can get thrown off course if you don't have discipline, because we're all dealing with something. We all have loved ones that have ailments that they're dealing with. We have relationships that we're struggling with. You know, these relationships were one way one day, and another day they're another, and they're going in another direction. And we have to struggle with that because we want it to be what we want it to be. But despite all that, right, we still have to face the world. And the world might not be what we want it to be, but we have to struggle to make it be what we want it to be. And how do we do that? We do that by learning from the past, learning about those who did actions that were beneficial or had the potential to benefit us. And we learn their level of commitment. We learn from their mistakes, their losses, their gain. And we learn that from that, we have to challenge ourselves to do more, to step up, to put our collective interests above our individual interests, right? So I'm going to repeat that. To put our collective interests above our individual interests. That means that you're going to have to be a part of a group. That means that you're going to have to make some time to step up, to accept the responsibility, to play your role, to participate in the change we all want. We all need, right? Our children are watching. They want change, and they deserve change, right? They deserve to be in a world that's going to listen to their concerns, a world that is going to be more about a group than particular individuals. Because once you have a situation where individuals are more than the group, then you have exploitation and oppression continuously in existence. But this episode is coming to an end, and we just want you to do what you can to support and aid the re-entry of our beloved brother, Ruchell Magee, who spent so many years behind bars, who never stopped fighting for the interests of his people, who continue to love his people. Welcome home, brother. Welcome home. We don't have to let political prisoners die in prison. Y'all know the call. Free them all.